In today's class, we are going to study about three-phase induction motors. So, what are the three-phase induction motors? What are the contents we are going to study in three-phase induction motors for today's classes? Introduction, construction, and type of rotors. Introduction is why induction motor? What is the necessity of induction motor? Why induction motors only are preferred? And in that, why three-phase induction motors only are preferred? That is what we are going to study. Then it comes to the construction. What are the different parts of the induction motor? And what are the different type of rotors? So when we talk about a motor, what is basically a motor? An electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So once the electrical energy is generated from the generators, that electrical energy is used to run the motors. So the work or the function of the motor is to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. The mechanical energy is nothing but the output which is connected to the load for which application which it is required. So basically when we talk about electric motors, it is of two different types, DC motors and AC motors. So this electric motor which works on DC supply is known as the DC motors, and the motors which work on the AC supply, the motors which work on the AC supply are known as AC motors. So these AC motors are classified as asynchronous motors. Asynchronous motors are further classified as single phase induction motor and three phase induction motors, and synchronous motors and special purpose motors. So these are the three different classifications. So now we are going to mainly concentrate on asynchronous motors, that is single phase induction motors and three phase induction motors. Single phase induction motor is nothing but for the induction motor we are going to give a single phase supply, that is 230 volts, and three phase induction motors are nothing but for which the supply given is a three-phase supply, that is 415 volts or 430 volts is the supply which will be given. So why the name is given as asynchronous motors is because here when we talk about induction motors, the speed at which the rotor and the stator are rotating both will not be the same. There will be no synchronization of the speed which is happening. That is why these motors are known as the asynchronous motors. So the most common and frequently used electrical machines in the industry is always the three-phase induction motors. Why it is always three-phase induction motors only is used is because of the following reasons. It is simple design and rugged construction. That is, the design is very simple, and rugged construction. Rugged construction is nothing but the outer surface will not be that very smooth. It will have a rock type construction, that is a rugged one. It will have a very good strength material which will be used for the construction. And the second point is low price and easy maintenance, means the price of a three-phase induction motor is very low. It is very economical to use, and the maintenance is very easy. It does not need any much more concentration which has to be kept, or much more maintenance is required. It is easy to maintain. That is why most frequently we are going to use three-phase induction motors. And the third point is operation are highly reliable. That is, when it is operating, it will not have any complications, very reliable, and very easily operations can be done, and wide range of power ratings. So this three phase induction motor, starting from right from, if you say 1 hp, 2 hp, zero point 0.5 hp, or whatever is the range, in wide range of power ratings we are going to get the induction motor. That is why it is most commonly or frequently used. And this always we have to keep in mind when we talk about motors or generators. It is the motor or generator is specified by using the power ratings. These power ratings are nothing but the power which is consumed. And so it is usually in watts or it is usually in the hp, that is horsepower. Okay. And the next point is run essentially as constant speed from no load to full load. So whatever might be the load, either it is there is no load applied or it is a full load, maximum value of load applied, always it essentially run at a constant, means it is a constant speed motors, and it is self starting. There is no starters which is required. It is capable of self starting itself. That is the most advantageous thing. And high efficiency and good speed regulation, means the motor working efficiency is also very high, and the speed regulation happens is a very good one. That is, from no load to full load, the speed regulation whenever we consider, it is almost the constant speed, and with a high efficiency the three phase induction motor will be running. So these are the few advantages. Why? Because of this, frequently or commonly induction motors, three phase induction motors are used. Along with these various advantages, there is one disadvantage, two disadvantages by which follow two disadvantages which is accompanying the advantages of a given induction motor. So what are these disadvantages is the starting torque of induction motor are inferior to that of DC motor. So when we compare this induction motor with a DC motors, the starting torque, what is torque? It is turning or the twisting force which will make the rotor rotate. So this starting torque will be very inferior, means very small in the induction motors. That is the major first disadvantage. And the second point is induction motor is a constant speed machine. Therefore, the speed variation of induction motor is done at the expense of money and motor efficiency. So, as I said, induction motor is a constant speed machine. If I want a variable speed which has to be obtained in the induction motors, how is it done? It can be done only at the expense of money and motor efficiency. That is, by spending more money, with a decreased efficiency, we can obtain a variable speed. So that is why that is the disadvantage of the induction motors. So induction motor, when we talk about what is the construction of induction motor, it is mainly, it will have two parts, stator and rotor. So stator is nothing but a stationary part of induction motor. A three-phase winding is placed in the stator of the induction motor and the three-phase supply is given to it. So if you observe in the figure, it is a cut section of a three-phase induction motor. You can see here this part, whatever is there, where you can see the windings, that is known as the stator. So it is a stationary part in which three-phase windings are given. It is not single phase, it is a three-phase windings are given, and to which three-phase AC supply is given. So for this three-phase induction motor, where the stator windings are placed, it is a stationary part and three-phase AC supply is given to it. And the next part of the induction motor is rotor. So rotor is the rotating part of the induction motor. The rotor is connected to mechanical load through the shaft. So this is the rotor part which is connected to the mechanical load, that is the loading part through the shaft. So this is the shaft. So this is the rotor, this is the shaft, and this is the stator. So these are the two main parts. It will along with that have um, many other different parts like bushings will be there, outer covering, everything. But the main important two parts which has to be considered when the construction is done is stator and the rotor part. So when we talk about the stator, the construction of the stator for both the kinds of three-phase induction motor remains the same. There are two different type of induction motors. So for those two different type of induction motors also, the stator construction remains the same. It does not change. So the stator mainly consists of three-phase induction motor mainly consists of three main parts. The first main part of that is stator frame. So the stator frame is nothing but the outer part of the three-phase induction motor. It mainly functions. Its main function is to support the stator core and the field winding. So if you observe here in the figure, this outer part, whatever is there, which is colored one, that is a cement color one, that is known as the stator frame. So this is the outer part. What is the function of this outer part? It is to support the stator core and the field winding. So whatever is the stator core is there and the field windings inside whatever is there, to protect that, this stator frame is used. It acts as a covering and it provides protection and mechanical strength to all the inner parts of the induction motor. So whatever is the inside, the parts are the stator, rotor, shaft, windings. For everything, mechanical protection is given and it acts as a covering. That is the function of stator frame. The frame is either made up of die cast or fabricated steel. So die cast or a fabricated steel is the material which is used to construct the stator frame. The frame of three-phase induction motor should be strong and rigid, as the air gap length of three-phase induction motor is very small. Between the stator and rotor, the air gap length is very small. That is why the frame of this induction motor always should be very strong and rigid. Strong and rigid means it should be able to withstand any mechanical or any environmental conditions, whatever is there. From all those conditions, it should be able to protect the motor. That is the function of this stator frame. And the next one is stator core. So in the stator only, outer part is the stator frame. The second part of the stator is stator core. The stator core has a laminated type of construction made up of stampings, which are 0.4 mm to 0.5 mm thick. So here the core, whatever is there, it is not a complete solid material. The core will be laminated type construction made up of stampings. That is, it is nothing but single stampings, whatever is there, each laminated type of stampings all together will be taken and it will be made into a stampings, which will be usually of 0.4 mm to 0.5 mm thick. The stampings are insulated from each other. Such a construction keeps the iron loss or core losses to a minimum value. So why the laminations are why the stampings are laminated or insulated from each other means to keep the core losses or the iron losses to a minimum value. The stampings are slotted to receive the balanced three-phase winding. That is, the windings will be either in star or delta connection, and it is fed from a balanced three-phase supply. So how are the stampings slotted means whatever is the balanced three-phase windings are there, it will be equally divided in all the slots and it will be supplied from a balanced three-phase supply. Balanced three-phase supply means three-phase R, Y, B, whatever is there, in each phase the magnitude and the frequency of the voltage whatever will be supplied, it always remains the same. That is known as the balanced supply. The ducts are provided for cooling purpose. The stator core is fitted in a casted or fabricated steel frame. So you can see here this outer part whatever is there, it is the frame, and this inside we have a stator. Okay, this is the stator core. The stator core is made up of stator slots and it is the laminated one. So inside this we are going to place the stator windings, the stator winding or the field winding. So the stator winding is wound for a definite number of poles depending on the requirement of the speed. So at what speed the stator has to be rotated, depending upon that speed, we are going to wind the number of windings. Okay, so depending upon the number of poles and the speed, the number of the windings whatever is there, it will be wound. When the stator winding are supplied by a three-phase supply, a rotating magnetic field is produced below the stator in the air gap, and this rotating magnetic field induces an EMF in the rotor conductor by mutual induction principle. So whenever we have a windings which is placed in the stator and the supply is given, at that time what happens is a rotating magnetic field, because of the supply given to the stator, what happens, it creates a rotating magnetic field where between the stator and rotor the air gap is there. In that air gap a rotating magnetic field is produced. So this rotating magnetic field in turn induces EMF in the rotor conductor by the principle of mutual induction. That is why these motors are known as induction motors, because the EMF is induced in the rotor conductors by principle of mutual induction. Therefore, the motors are given the name as three-phase induction motors. So the next one is rotor. The first part we have studied, it is the stator. The second one is rotor. The rotor of a three-phase induction motor are further classified into two different types. The first one is squirrel cage rotor, and the second one is slip ring rotor or wound rotor or phase wound rotor. So depending upon the type of rotor construction, the three-phase induction motors are further classified as squirrel cage induction motor, and slip ring induction motor or wound induction motor or phase wound induction motor. So this rotor whatever is there, it is further classified or further divided into two types, as we said, squirrel cage and the slip ring type. Okay, so what is meant by this squirrel cage rotor is, it is nothing but this type of rotor has the simplest, cheap and most rugged type of construction. That is, you can see here the squirrel cage motors are always the simplest, cheap and most rugged type construction. I'll show you what is rugged type construction. You can see here this outer slot whatever is there, it is not a smooth surface. Instead it is like a slotted construction which is done. So this type of construction whatever is there, it is known as the rugged construction, and it is always cheap. Means very easily with a low economically it can be constructed, and the design is not also complicated. That is why always this type of construction is preferred. This type of rotor consists of a cylindrical laminated core with skewed slots. Okay, so you can see here this is known as the skewing. So this always rotor whatever is there, it consists of a cylindrical laminated core with skewed slots. So this is a cylindrical laminated core which is made up of skewing or a skewed slots are there. So the rotor consists of uninsulated copper or aluminum bars called as rotor conductors. The bars are placed in the slots. So in the rotor, where the rotor slots are there, in the slots you can the aluminum or the copper bars are placed. So here we are not going to use the windings. It is nothing but the copper or aluminum bars which are acting as a rotor conductors, and it is placed in the slots. And these bars are permanently shorted at each end with the help of conducting copper ring called as end ring. So at both the side, at both the ends, because it is cylindrical, at both the ends using the copper ring which is known as end ring, both the sides it will be sealed, permanently sealed, because of which rotor resistance will be very less. Because it is sealed at both the sides, the resistance of the rotor will be very less. Hence this rotor is also called as short circuited rotor. So because of this, squirrel cage rotor is also known as short circuited rotor. The bars are usually braced to the end rings to provide good mechanical strength. So this bars, whatever is there, that is the conductors, it will be braced, means it will be permanently fixed to the end rings. Why? Because to provide the good mechanical strength. As the rotor is short circuited, no external resistance can be introduced, so slip ring and brush assembly is not required. So since it is already shorted at both the ends, so no external resistance can be added here. Because of no external resistance which is added, there is no need of the brush assembly or the slip ring type for the squirrel cage rotors. Okay, so here we were talking about skewed slots. So what is meant by skewed slots or skewing means, it is nothing but in a method where the slots on the periphery of the rotor are not arranged parallel to the shaft axis. So always the shaft axis will be horizontal, that is completely in parallel, like x-axis it will be there. So this rotor slots, whatever is there, it will not completely parallel to the shaft axis. Instead it will be slightly skewed, that is not exactly parallel, it will be at some angle. You can see here, these are the skewed slots. So if I have a shaft which is here like this, exactly horizontal, how is the rotor bars placed here? It is slightly skewed, means it is not exactly parallel, which is kept. So this method is known as the skewing. So why skewing is done is because of the following advantages. The magnetic hum gets reduced due to skewing, therefore making the motor operation quiet. So because of this skewing, what happens, it is not parallel, the magnetic hum, since all the materials are of magnetic materials which is used here, the magnetic hum will be reduced because of this skewing. Therefore the operation of this induction motors will be quite very quiet, means smooth operation. There will be no much noise which is all usually listened. The tendency of stator and rotor teeth getting magnetically locked get reduced due to skewing. Here we have stator and rotor both. Because of this skewing, the teeth, that is the slots, whatever is there, the rotor and stator slots or the teeth getting magnetically locked. Because all are kept in parallel, if it is all are kept in parallel, what happens, the locking will happen. So you can observe here we have a stator slots. So this are the stator teeths. In the same way we have rotor also, where the rotor teeths are there. Once they start rotating, what happens, if all are kept in parallel, the rotor slots and the rotor teeth and the stator teeth gets locked magnetically. If that locking happens, there will be no further rotation of the motor. Therefore if a skewing is done, that is not exactly parallelly arranged, this can reduce that magnetic locking which will happen. And also skewing increases the effective transformation ratio between stator and rotor. So between the stator and rotor, effective transformation ratio of the rotating magnetic field takes place, so that good EMF value will be induced. So that is the advantage of skewing which is done. Okay, and why the name is given as squirrel cage rotor is because this looks like the skewing whatever is done, or the skewing whatever is done, it is exactly looking like a squirrel cage. That is why the name is given as squirrel cage rotor. So this is about the squirrel cage rotors. The next one is slip ring rotor or phase wound rotor. So what is meant by this slip ring or phase wound rotor is, in this type of construction, rotor winding is similar to the stator. So as in the stator, how we have laminated slots, uh, laminated slots, and inside the slots we have the conductor. In the same way, for the rotor also, rotor windings will be there, which is placed in the rotor slots. The rotor carries a three-phase, that is either star or delta connected distributed winding, wound for same number of poles as that of stator. If stator has 4 number of poles, for that same number of 4 poles in the rotor also the winding will be wound here. Okay, that is a star and delta connected distributed windings which will be placed. The rotor core is laminated and slotted. The slots carry the rotor winding. Okay, the three phase rotor windings are star connected internally. You can see here, internally inside the three phase winding, whatever is there, it is star connected, and other end of the windings whatever is there, it will be brought outside from the terminal box, and it is connected to three insulated slip rings. These are the three insulated slip rings which are mounted on the shaft with brushes resting on them. So these are the brushes and these are the slip rings. So inside the three phase winding will be star connected, and at the other end whatever is there, because it is a three phase, it will have two ends. One end is connected inside as a star, and the other end whatever is there, it will be brought outside and it will be connected to slip rings. And in turn slip rings are connected to brushes, and this whole arrangement will be kept on the shaft. So these brushes are connected externally to a star connected rheostat for increasing the starting torque of the motor. So these brushes whatever is there, which this can be connected to a external star connected rheostat. So by connecting a rheostat, what we are doing, we are adding the external resistance. So by external resistance is added, we can increase the starting torque. Means at the starting the torque of the motor can be increased by adding this external resistance. So by adding this external resistance, when the starting torque of the motor is increased, what happens is we can increase the speed also here. So whenever a variable speed of induction motor is required, slip ring type of rotors are slip ring type of rotor or phase wound rotors are used. So the main difference is, usually if it is a squirrel cage, will not have any windings. In the slip ring type, rotor also will have the windings same that of stator windings. Thank you.